You've been lied to your entire life. You were told that working 40 hours a week is normal, that it's what responsible adults do, that if you're not grinding away for at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you're lazy. You're not contributing, you're somehow less than. But none of that is true. The 40-hour work week wasn't designed for your benefit. It was designed to extract maximum value from you while giving you just enough time to recover so you can do it all over again. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how this scam works, where it came from, and why you've been programmed to defend the very system that's stealing your life. Let's go back to the 1920s. Before that, factory workers were grinding 10, 12, sometimes 14-hour days, 6 or 7 days a week. It was brutal. People were literally dying from exhaustion. Then Henry Ford did something revolutionary. In 1926, he introduced the 40-hour work week at his factories. 5 days, 8 hours a day. And everyone celebrated it as this massive victory for workers' rights. Finally, humanity. Finally, balance. But I bet they didn't tell you this in history class. Henry Ford didn't do this out of the goodness of his heart. He did it because his research showed that workers were more productive when they weren't completely destroyed. He figured out that exhausted, miserable people make mistakes. They're slow. They get injured. They cost him money. So he gave them just enough time to rest, just enough time to go home and consume products. Maybe even buy one of his cars, and then come back ready to work again. It was never about what's best for you. It was about what's best for production. And here we are, 100 years later, still living by a standard that was created for factory assembly lines. Now, this is where it gets even more insane. Since the 1970s, worker productivity has skyrocketed. We're talking a 77% increase in productivity. Technology has made us faster, more efficient, capable of doing in 2 hours what used to take 8. So logically, if we're producing way more in less time, we should be working fewer hours, right? Wrong. We're still stuck at 40 hours. In fact, most people are working more than 40 hours when you factor in emails after work, weekend catch-up, and the mental load of being always on. But wages have barely moved. The wealth that came from all that increased productivity went straight to the top. Let's get this straight. You're twice as productive. Technology has made your job easier, but you're still expected to sit at a desk for the same amount of time, doing busy work to look busy because God forbid you finish your tasks in 4 hours and go live your life. That's not a job. That's a time prison with a paycheck. And you know what's most messed up about this? We've been so conditioned to accept this that we actually defend it. When someone says they work 30 hours a week and make enough to live, we assume they aren't very ambitious. Someone leaves work at 5 p.m. on the dot instead of staying late, and we say they're not a team player. Someone values their personal time over climbing the corporate ladder, and we think they'll never be successful. We've internalized this toxic belief that our worth as human beings is tied to how many hours we sacrifice at a job. But nobody on their deathbed ever said, "I wish I'd spent more time in meetings." Nobody ever looked back on their life and thought, "Man, I'm so glad I missed my kid's soccer game to finish that PowerPoint." You know what they regret? Not living, not spending time with people they love, not doing the things that actually matter. And we've been trained to feel guilty for wanting that. We've been brainwashed into thinking that rest is laziness, that boundaries are weakness, and that our entire identity should revolve around our job title. It's not just about the hours anymore, it's the fact that you're expected to be available 24/7. Check your email at night. Respond to Slack messages on weekends. Always be on. It's the fact that taking a vacation makes you feel anxious because you know you'll come back to a mountain of work. It's the fact that calling in sick feels like you're committing a crime, even when you're actually sick. It's the hustle culture that glorifies burnout. The motivational quotes that say, "Sleep is for the weak," and "Grind now, rest later." Rest later? When? When you're too old and broken to enjoy it? This isn't success. This is slavery with better marketing. So what do you do about it? First, you stop accepting it as normal. You stop defending a system that doesn't serve you. Second, you start questioning everything. Do you really need to work 40 hours to get your job done? Or are you just filling time because that's what's expected? Third, you start setting boundaries. You stop answering emails at 9 p.m. You stop sacrificing your health, your relationships, your life for a company that would replace you in a week if you dropped dead. And fourth, and this is the big one, you start looking for alternatives. Remote work, freelancing, building skills that let you work on your terms, creating income streams that don't require you to trade your time for money at a 1-to-1 ratio. Because honestly, the 40-hour work week isn't going away unless we reject it. Companies aren't going to voluntarily give you your time back. They're going to keep squeezing every ounce of productivity out of you until you say, enough. 40-hour work week is a relic. It's outdated. It's built on a foundation of exploitation. And the biggest scam of all is convincing you that you're the problem if you don't want to participate. You're not lazy for wanting more out of life. You're not entitled for believing your time has value. You're awake. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? If this resonated with you, hit subscribe. Because on this channel, we're done playing by their rules. We're building something different. Let's reclaim our time. Let's reclaim our lives. See you in the next one.